Hello, my friends, and welcome to MSP Unplugged's Emerging Vendor Series. I'm your host, Rick Smith. Join this new series highlighting ConnectWise PitchIT contestants. Each episode, we highlight an emerging vendor who's changing the game and making a big impact on the MSP space. Now, before we get into the PitchIT series for today or today's guest today, I'd like to make our quick public service announcement, which we always do. And you guys who listen should always know what we're talking about here, and that's TechCon Unplugged. Now, TechCon Unplugged is happening September 7th to the 10th at the Delta Hotel in Woodbridge, New Jersey. Now, this is our annual gathering of IT business owners, techs, and vendors in the space. And from there, you'll learn with like-minded business owners in panels and breakout sessions, gain key takeaways from partners and vendors in the community. And my absolute favorite part, and what has drawn me to this event so much, is you get to experience those one-on-one or spontaneous group conversations where great friendships are built, relationships are cultivated, and ideas are exchanged. Now, tickets are on sale at TechConUnplugged.com. We do look forward to seeing you there. Let me bring in my co-host, someone you all should know well, Mr. Sean Lardo, who is, I'm going to get this right this time, the economic evangelist at ConnectWise. I didn't get it right.
Economy
Evangelist. Stop. Let me bring in my co-host, someone you all should know, the economy evangelist at ConnectWise, Mr. Sean Lardo. How are you, sir?
I'm great, Rick. How are you today? Happy belated Father's Day. And it's starting to show that we're too old when we can't remember simple words.
Yes. I'm sorry. For those of you who don't know, we just had some little behind the scenes issues here where I can't get my words out right. But happy belated Father's Day to you too, sir. Hope things went great for you.
Oh, yes. I'm ready for another nap. You know, when you're a dad, you don't get enough naps, I feel like.
I hear you. I know how you feel. Mm-hmm. So this is one of those after Father's Day's hangover. But tell the audience a little bit about PitchIT and what's going on with it.
Sure. So ConnectWise started the PitchIT competition 5 years ago. What it was really geared towards was finding the top innovators as far as vendors are concerned, to be complementary to our ecosystem. Most importantly, supporting the mission of the MSPs, right? And it is a competition, Shark Tank competition, where these vendors are competing against each other. Whoever can provide the best pitch for what they actually do, how they support the program, how they support partners. It's the first place winner. They're all competing for the grand prize of $70,000, and as first place, and $30,000 for second place. But also, I guess something we never really talk about is the fact that the three finalists get free booth space at IT Nation Connect. So that's another, whatever the current running rate is for this. So it's not just 70 grand and 30 grand. It's that plus booth cost. So I think it's a pretty big deal. Now, the importance behind all this, though, is, as I mentioned before, is about this trying to find people that are complementary to the ecosystem. So we are looking for providers that have staying power. So we've changed the program up to last year. We reimagined the program and turned it into an accelerated incubator program where they go through 16 weeks where they're dedicating 4 to 5 hours a week almost with us of workshops, recordings with people like you all, live streams, everything, to, one, the workshops are to help them to better understand like where their gaps are between mergers and acquisition training, to sales and marketing, to whatever it may be, integrations, road mapping, you take your pick. And this is all from practitioners, people that actually do it in the space. And then they're also, again, because of all this, what they're doing with people like you, Rick, and Paco, and Marvin, and Ray, and all them, it's really about them working on their speak and working on their pitch and getting some awareness. Goal is for us is to make them, hit the ground running at the end of the program, regardless.
Cool. So without further ado, let's bring on today's guest, someone who actually has been here before, and you all should know him from around the industry, Mr. Larry Meador of DataStream. How are you, sir?
I am well, gentlemen. How are you guys?
Doing good.
Happy belated Father's Day to each of you as well.
Same to you.
I was about to say that. You totally beat me to the punch.
Well, hey. Rick,
I'm surprised.
I actually hear you forgot another title that Mr. Lardo now possesses as of Father's Day. I hear he is the official PIMP.
Yes. For those
If
of
you
you,
haven't seen the Facebook video, folks, you really need to go see this thing. It was phenomenal. It was
for those of
absolutely
you who are
phenomenal.
friends with Sean on Facebook, I encourage you to go check out his Facebook page.
Send me a friend request. You'll love it. And you know, when you said there was another name for me, I got nervous. I was thinking, oh my God, what other names are there?
I
Like,
was
where are we
thinking,
Oh, I've got
going?
some other ones too, but you know, this is a family show.
Oh, man.
wow.
So you can tell we're old friends, so it's all good.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I do
Still was
highly
nervous.
suggest you all for a little entertainment though. Check out his page.
Always check out. There's always random. Yeah, whatever. Anyway, it's not about me. It's about Larry.
Right, exactly.
Let's reposition
So,
this.
well, Larry, welcome back.
Thank you,
For
sir.
those of us who don't know you, just give us a little bit of history on you and then how you got the data stream.
Yeah, no, I'd be glad to do that. So again, Larry Meador. I am the channel chief here at DataStream Cyber Insurance. But as I like to tell people, I'm not an insurance guy trying to learn the channel. I'm actually a channel guy that got picked up by an insurance company. But so yeah, I've been in the channel for about 20 years now. Most of it was spent with CNET, kind of representing their channel online platform and all that good stuff. Then I spent some time with some good friends over at Greenlink Networks before I came over to DataStream in December of 2021. And for those that don't know DataStream and what we do, we are a specialist cyber insurance only broker. We've got about 40 carriers in our portfolio, and we're here to be that resource for MSPs, MSSPs, education, all that good stuff, talking to them about insurance, because really cyber insurance is driving cybersecurity spend right now for the foreseeable future, all of that good stuff. So we're just here to kind of help those MSPs talk about the insurance side of things to their customers. And at our core, we're really out there trying to help those SMB customers get covered, because for those customers that don't have cyber insurance, that's a liability for the MSP or the MSSP. So we're really here to help them get their customers covered, all of that good stuff. And it's kind of interesting that insurance being a highly regulated industry, it's kind of interesting because I really don't have anything to sell MSPs, because you got to be a licensed agent to sell insurance. But what we do is we partner with the MSPs so that they can refer customers over to us. We take care of the transactional side of things, get the policy bound, all of that good stuff for the MSP. And then we help them out with MDF and lead generation. And we can get creative with things as well. We just can't pay for success.
So, all right. So you can't sell any insurance to them. So you are acting solely as a broker?
You got it.
Yeah.
We are a broker because, once again, by law, in order to really get in the weeds and talk finances on insurance and to sell insurance, you have to be a licensed agent. And if these MSPs want to do that, hey, go for it. But most of them have enough on their plate. So we just kind of serve as that resource for them to refer their customers to. And then we, of course, keep them in the loop on things, all of that good stuff. And it's been working really, really well.
So you're essentially saving them time by vetting out what they're going to do, or how to vet out the insurance, and and also on the other important side is that what the insurance is asking for as well. Because I feel like, and you and I talked about this not that long ago, it seems that insurance has picked up the reins and ran with the fact of what cyber insurance or cybersecurity complete package should look like. Almost like, these are the things. Here's your check boxes that you need to make sure you're checking off.
You got it. You got it. So, cyber insurance, they're basically setting the requirements that they need to see in place from the customers in order to give a good policy to those customers. And, there's about 5 requirements right now, but who knows, in the future, there may be more added as these carriers get a little bit more sophisticated and do everything that they can to try to protect themselves. So, yeah. So, again, we're just here to be that resource, both educationally as well as we've got lots of tools that are totally free to our MSP and MSSP partners. Matter of fact, everything we do for our partners is totally free. So that's why we always encourage them, hey, come on board. You don't have to be a partner to do business with us, but it really behooves you to do so, because again, The only ones that get eligible for MDF funds are our partners. So yeah, so that's
So
how we
you're
try to.
so you're offering MDF as well. So you talked about you also help them to market and
Mhm.
sell an MDF now. So you're doing
You got it.
full enablement.
Yep, exactly. So we'll offer MDF to those partners that are referring their customers over to us. And then we also do lead generation as well. So uh, just trying to help the MSPs, as much as we can, help them grow their business. And it's interesting, again, having been in the channel a long time, us vendors have conditioned the MSPs and MSSPs out there into, hey, what's in it for me, through commissions and spiffs and referrals and stuff like that. But once again, when it comes to insurance, we can't do that. So we take care of it on the back end with MDF monies and things like that.
Now, tell me, as an MSP, I know you guys have a way of helping us help our clients pinpoint where some issues may be. You guys do your what's the proper word I'm looking for that? What do
Yeah,
you call it?
Rick, that's awesome. I appreciate that little segue. So what you're talking about is one of our free reports that we provide. It's called a cyber insurance readiness assessment.
Right.
And, this is not a technical assessment. This is just, when your customers go out and apply for cyber insurance, those carriers are running a scan on your customer's domain. Yeah, we know it doesn't tell them a whole lot. However, it does give the carrier a good signal on what they may be working with and what they might see once they get behind the firewall here. And, we've had MSP partners come to us and say, man, I wish I knew about you before because I had a customer go and apply for cyber insurance. That carrier raised a red flag, caused my customer to come back to me with not a fun conversation to have,
Right.
because the client comes to you, Rick, and says, hey man, why am I paying you all this money when this insurance carrier over here just told me I've got some red flags? So this report that we're talking about, the cyber insurance readiness assessment, we call it CIRA for short. It's the same type of domain scan that the carriers are running. And it's just a way for you to get in front of the process with, and bring it up to your customer and say, hey, Mr. Customer, you really need to get cyber insurance. However, we see a few shortcomings here that the carriers are probably going to pick up on, and we need to talk about those before you apply for insurance. And that's when you can also refer them to us. We can kind of be that, it works out really well. We're kind of that third party, unbiased resource that many of my MSP partners are like, hey, I don't even have to sell anymore. I just bring you guys into the conversation. You get to reinforce what I've been telling my customers all along, and they listen to you. It's like, oh, wow, if these guys are telling me I need MFA, I guess I really do need MFA.
Mm-hmm.
So it really kind of, as the MSP, a good friend of mine told me, he's like, I don't sell anymore. I'm just an order taker because of bringing you into the process. So we get to play that bad cop in a way. Mr. and Mrs. Customer, you need to listen to your MSP. They know what they're talking about. That's why they're telling you. You need MFA, you need EDR, you need offsite backup, you need all these things, because if you want to get a good insurance policy, you got to have those. Those are some of the requirements.
Right. And some of us see now, the cyber insurance has changed a lot over the past few years. So we get those, the customer gets those questionnaires. They bring them to us now when they're looking for cyber insurance. Do we have this? Do we have that? Do we? And it is a good way. I'll say it from the MSP point of view, it's a good way to get some things implemented that may have been trying that may not necessarily has gone over well. So
Precisely.
that definitely helps. But
Precisely.
Can we add in the element of, to your point, Rick? First off, we know that MSPs dislike selling things, right? Most MSPs are great service providers. That's what they're very good at. That they're very good at business continuity once they have a client, keeping them running, having them and taking care of all the business, right? Where they struggle with is those difficult, what they consider to be difficult conversations of, you still need to buy this. Because they're already thinking, well, you already spend all this with me. So I like that. So would you even say, Larry, you almost are now becoming complementary to even the QBR system as well?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And we stress that. We're like, guys, and we help our MSPs. We're like, here's how you bring this up in a QBR conversation. If they already have insurance, hey, we can do a free policy review. If they don't have insurance, here's how you bring it into the conversation and why you bring it into the conversation. So we've got all type of little scripts and things like that built for our MSP partners, just to kind of help them overcome the objections that get thrown out at them.
Now, on speaking of objections, two things seem to come up a lot as I've been pressing my clients who don't have cyber insurance first to get cyber insurance, and then those who do have it to get it reviewed to make sure it's proper. So the first thing happens is it's just like everything else. We're too small. I don't think we need it, right? So that's
Yep.
the first objection we got to overcome and get that handled. And secondly, what I've noticed is, and this is about a good 60 to 70% of my clients who I've talked to about it say their broker tells them they either don't have it, don't sell it, or they don't need it. So how do we deal with things like that?
Yeah, so that's one of the things that we see and hear all the time. And look, there are some damn good brokers out there and agents that know what they're doing, but they're usually few and far between. And the reason for that is cyber liability insurance is an entirely different beast than, say, like workers' compensation or commercial general liability or a business owner's policy. You've got to be working with folks like you guys here on the call. You got to be working with MSPs, MSSPs. You got to be working with other security platforms. Staying on top of what's going on, because cyber risk is one of it's an incredibly dynamic risk, because it's changing not day by day, not hour by hour. It's changing minute by minute. There's bad threat actors out there that are evolving. They're sharing their knowledge with others. And you know what? And to help counter that argument, and we hear it all the time, I'm too small, I don't need cyber insurance. These guys are going after the big companies, the Targets, the Mondelez, the Colonial Pipeline. Yeah, those are very big. Or just like last week, I mean, we've got the US government and the whole Move It thing that's going on. Yeah, there are attacks going on against these big ones, but the ones you don't hear about are the 800 plus attacks a day happening to the SMBs. And www.frankswarehouse.com, my little small business, yeah, a hacker may not be looking for my domain, but what they end up doing is they find my domain because they see this attack surface map, and all of a sudden they're looking for these CVEs and different things like that. And if they can lock one up, they can easily just go out there and write a script, try to find anybody else that's got that same vulnerability exposed, and they can lock that one up just like that. And all of a sudden that hacker, he may be getting a $5,000 paycheck here, $5,000 paycheck here. And I said hacker. I should have said bad threat actor, because I know the good hackers are going to come after me on that one. But the bad threat actor, all of a sudden he or she can lock those other domains up and get a pretty good payday out of it. So, yeah, when it comes to I'm too small, I'm not important enough, you're not too small. You're not. You're just not big enough to make the news. Is the problem?
Right. No, I was going to say that.
Hold up, though. But let's use a real story that took place, which was Target. Right? You mentioned Target, but Target wasn't hacked first. It was a third party that was hacked.
Third party.
It was the HVAC company that was hacked, that came in and did their diagnostic check, that then ingested the threat into Target. Is how this happened. So the HVAC company was a small local company. It wasn't some major national conglomerate. So
you bring up a really good point, and I'm glad you did that.
You're welcome.
So going back to what Rick was just talking about, hey, what if I've got a customer that says, oh man, I've already got cyber insurance, I'm covered. I got, my Uncle John's an insurance broker. He told me, yeah, just put a rider on your CGL, you're covered.
Right.
That's what we wind up seeing a lot of, people saying, oh, I got cyber insurance. And we're like, okay, fantastic. Let us do a free policy review. We just want to make sure you've got good coverage, because what happens is these people are buying cyber insurance policies. They don't really read it. They just put it in the file cabinet. And they're like, okay, cool, I'm covered. Well, number one, if it's a rider on a CGL, it's probably leaving you exposed, because as we kind of, I shouldn't say jokingly say, but a rider on a CGL typically is only going to cover the cost of coffee and bagels for the incident response team once you have a security incident. That's usually the sad but true truth. The other problem is people get these policies and don't read what's in them, and they don't understand that, oh, I got to document everything that I attested to. I can't just go on there and click all these boxes and just say, oh yeah, I got all this stuff. Yeah. Guess what? You have a security incident and the forensics team comes in there and finds out that you really didn't have these things in place that you attested to. You're in trouble. You're not going to get a payout. They may actually rescind the policy. Now, what Sean was just talking about, all we offer are standalone cyber insurance policies. And there's a reason for that. Standalone cyber insurance policies typically are much stronger, and they also cover first party as well as third party liability. So in the incident where Sean was just talking about the HVAC contractor with Target, that was a third party that brought the vulnerability in there, the breach, whatever you want to call it. So if with a standalone, you'd be covered. You'd be covered. And
I think so here's a question then. Let me ask real quick here. Is the so what you guys are providing, one thing is the brokerage piece. The other piece is the enablement piece to help them generate leads and sell. The other piece you mentioned is actually doing a review. These are the three. Those are the three pillars you guys are based off of at this point, right? So essentially, you're doing all the back end administrative, very difficult everything for an MSP that has zero time.
Bingo. And speaking of time, we are just launching this week. I'm not sure when this episode is going to be broadcast, but this week we are launching what we believe is the first collaborative cyber insurance application. And it's all digital. It's out on our website, where your customer goes out there and they start answering their questions, but all of a sudden they get some of these technical questions that they're not too sure of. They can now send an invite to their MSP, their MSSP, who can now log into their application, fill it out for them, send it back to the customer, all that fun stuff. The customer can then finish it, send it on to us. So it really helps save the MSP time. Because I mean, we've seen these standalone applications, 17 pages, 20 pages, 30 pages. They've gotten absolutely ludicrous. And oftentimes the wording on some of these applications is so ambiguous and vague. They don't know what to do. So ours is a condensed version. It's actually basically what we call 10 pages, 10 web pages for the customer to fill out. But when they get to that security side and they may not know all the answers, they can have their MSP come in there and fill it out.
Oh, that's awesome.
That's impressive.
Rather than them printing it out, sending it to us, hey, I need you to fill this out.
Bingo. So
are they going to fax it after that too? Because faxing is a great secure, device. That's all. I'm done.
Yeah, I know how old you are, man.
What do you mean? I just hooked up to my pigeon. I sent that shit out on a message with a pigeon.
I know. Exactly. There you go. Carrier pigeon. There it goes.
Hey, Larry, a quick question for you. Now, this is shifting gears a little bit. You guys have you've been around for a while, since 2021. Is that right? Or
Yep. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Now, you've joined the PitchIT competition.
We have.
I guess two questions for you, and you can answer them, consecutively. What made you do that, first and foremost, and how has your experience been?
Well, what made us do it first and foremost is just the exposure that the PitchIT program offers to new vendors. I mean, again, I've been in the channel for a long time, so I've seen this, I've seen the winners, all of that good stuff. And it's just a great way to help a new vendor continue to build their brand. And it's also a great way to just, I guess, a lot of times, and those of us that have been doing this a long time, you see vendors come in and then you see them disappear a year later. So by entering into this competition, I do think it provides a bit of validation as to, hey, these guys are real. They do what they say they're going to do. Because Sean and Andrea and their crew, they're not going to let anybody into this PitchIT competition. So, it's kind of the best of the best. And then at the end of the day, come November, whoever is the last man or woman standing really is the cream of the crop.
Agreed. No, and that's well put. Yeah, no. I mean, I guess to add to that, every competitor in the competition was vetted based off of who they are, based off their application, based off what we find. We do research other than just they're required to do a long form of explaining everything about them, but it doesn't just stop there. Literally, I guess the good thing about the channel space is most of us know each other. We've been around for a long time, so you already know if somebody's long-term legitimate, you already know they've been around. You can have that conversation, but we do research everything between how their social presence looks, any kind of investments, any kind of anything that's going on. We're looking into all of that. And it's a collective assessment of our whole team that decides who goes forward to be part of the competition. And then not to mention to add more validity to them, they have to, like I said, when we said, what is PitchIT? 4 hours a week almost they're spending with us in one way, shape, or form. So, and then they're also running their businesses and they're doing their jobs. And if you see Larry, he's everywhere all the time traveling. So to say, hey, Larry, 4 hours a week, that's precious time that he probably doesn't even have, but is investing, and they're going above and beyond to do it, to show they're serious. And I think MSP should pay attention to that because there's a lot of work that goes into it from all these contestants.
Yeah, there is a lot of work that goes into it. There's also a lot of work that goes into it from your team. I mean, you guys are approaching things from just every single angle that you can think of, developing an ecosystem and how to get up and present, how to engage an audience, how to tell stories, different things like that. So it's really cool to kind of see, there's even things that, I haven't thought about that I was like, oh, wow. Yeah. Okay. That's pretty cool. So, you're helping educate us, and it's an honor to be in this year's class, if that's what we want to call it. And, and I'm going up against some really, really good companies and, some very dear friends. So, it's almost like, wow, golly, I hope they do well, but oh, wait, I still want to win.
Please. You know what? Don't even act like that. I watch you doing rapid pitches. It's not like you're like, I really hope you beat me. I've never seen you once do that. Like literally, I've watched you walk on stage, basically peacocking, right? And PIMP. I mean, I don't know. I'm gonna say that's you on stage. I've watched you do it.
Oh man, thank you. I appreciate that. I do appreciate it.
And you smile the whole way down, knowing you just beat everybody, like a fast pitch or a rapid pitch or whatever one it is. Doesn't take your pick, whatever conference it's been. I've watched you like smile, like, yeah, I just beat all your asses.
And that's not what the smile's for. You know that. Oh, shut up, Sean. Get out of here.
Like as you mentioned earlier, we've been friends for quite some time. Yeah, that smile is, and I'm okay with that smile. I totally appreciate. You should. Honestly, if people don't want to take anything away from, and I think you're a good testament to this, if anybody should take anything away from you, it's the fact that you should prep to be the best at what you're doing on stage, because that presentation is everything at that time. And you've done a very good job always. You're a student of what you do. It's a craft. I know it is. I know how much work goes into it. Believe me, I know. And you've always done well.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. To me, that smile when I walk off stage is watching the audience shake their heads like this and knowing that the message that I am giving is resonating and meaning something to them.
Exactly.
But you guys, I mean, I hear that, Larry, and I've been in the audience a couple of times when you've presented, and it is that I say, okay, I've heard this a couple of times. You don't do the same exact thing, but I've heard it. But it's still those aha moments, even for me still. And then I see the people around me with the same reactions. Like, we get it and we understand. So I'm going to say this. I know we're coming down on the end here. But as I say to every contestant, so I want to keep it. Sean knows what I'm going to say, but I'm rooting for you. I hope you guys do well.
Thank you, sir.
I'm rooting for every one of you that come on the show because again, like I say, if you're better with what you offer to the community, we're going to be better as well, right? So it's a symbiotic relationship, and we need each other. And we want people. I want to work with people I know, like, and trust, right? And we also know they know what they're doing. And so to you guys, I say good luck, because I think what ConnectWise is giving you is going to help, and it helps to build those three pillars that me as an MSP needs to do business with someone like you.
Absolutely. And I thank the ConnectWise folks. I thank the PitchIT folks, Sean, Andrea, the whole team. Rick, I thank you and Paco for everything that you guys are doing. And, all the MSPs out there, if it wasn't for them taking care of their customers, We all wouldn't be sitting here doing this right now because we wouldn't have a job.
Absolutely.
Correct.
So,
Absolutely.
big thanks to the MSPs and MSPs out there for everything that they do, because man, they get the heck beat out of them on a daily basis. And I'm sure they probably go, why am I doing this again? But they're making things better for their customers.
They're all masochists.
Yeah, that too.
All right, as we wind down here, Sean, any final words or?
No, I think, well, I mean, honestly, I think Larry, you summed it up all well. So, I thank you for being part of it. I was happy when you
Thank you.
applied. I look forward to watching what you do, because I think you probably, of the group, you probably set the standard for how to approach and present value. And as we know, that's a difficult thing for a lot of us to do. So yeah, I look forward to it. And the fact that Rick used to always say, I hope you win. That's how he started at first. And he realized, oh my God, I shouldn't say that to anybody, because he wants everybody to win. And he readjusted. So I appreciate that too.
Yeah.
And the fact that you figured I'm the evangelist for the economy of ConnectWise, I appreciate that too. Yeah, no, it's exciting times. I'm looking forward to how this all pans out. I want to see how everybody works out. And maybe we'll see you on stage at Connect.
Fingers are crossed. I'm going to do my best. My best.
The info to connect to Larry and DataStream will be in the show notes, as well as it will be in the ConnectWise marketplace. I got that right, Sean.
Yeah, you did.
So the link will be there in the show notes. So I encourage you, if you're interested in DataStream and Larry and what they have to offer, reach out to them. With that, I'm just going to invite everyone to join us every Tuesday and Thursday. You can catch the video podcast on youtube.com/MSP Unplugged or facebook.com/MSP Unplugged. Do us a favor, like, subscribe, hit the notification button to be notified whenever a new episode's available. You can take us on the go as well. We're in your favorite podcatcher apps. We're in Amazon Music, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts. For Larry, Sean, and I want to thank you for listening, and we'll see you next time on MSP Unplugged.
Thank you, guys.